Hey guys, it's Bill from Wyndon, Tennessee. We are day 2 of getting the transmission and motor connected, and I'm going to see if it fits in the engine bay of the little Volkswagen. As you can see, it's done. I've done it. I will refer you to my last video to show you how I got this little adapter plate made. And yeah, but I don't know, really not much to say here. So yeah, it took basically all day to get this on here. I was just kind of really taking my time and making sure I did everything right. I had to drill and tap these holes here. These ones I drilled and tapped. I center punched them when it was sitting down there on the ground. Center punched them, drilled them, and tapped them, so I knew where those two were based on where these holes here were kind of floppy with the center punch that I had. So once I had these ones in there and tightened them down and used my little centering jig to make sure that the plate was where it needed to be, then I went ahead and took a slightly bigger drill bit than what these holes are, just like 1/64th drill size bigger, and ran my drill in there and then just drilled up from the bottom. Just held it on there for just a second, and then same one down here. And then whenever you take that off, then you have a nice obvious place to... I use an 1/8 inch drill bit to do the initial hole, and then go ahead and drill the tap size, and then go ahead and tap it through. And in addition, these ones down here were kind of a swag. Not exactly. Where's my adapter? Where's my plate? So this is my template that I made, and those little holes right there, that's what those are here. So I knew kind of whereabouts they were, so I just basically set this on the motor plate, and then just drew a mark and just tried the best I could to drill it in the middle, and drilled a slightly oversized hole so that I could put these 7mm bolts. 7mm by 1.0. It's a very strange size. Anyway, there's 3 of them. The one on the bottom I didn't quite get, and I can just oversize that hole a little bit so I can quite get it. And as you see, I got my axle flange off, but if I go ahead and put that axle flange on, you can see my problem. But it's not a huge problem because there's more than enough material there for me to remove. And in fact, what I can do is, if this fits, I can just take with a Sharpie and then just draw a line right there, and I don't have to remove all of it. So if this motor fits on there, then I can quite easily do that. And it won't take any crazy setup on a mill. I'll just clamp it down to the table and just basically freehand it. Just, you know, I'll just oversize my Sharpie mark, and that'll be the end of that. So that's going to be fine. So let's just cross our fingers that this thing fits. I had some suggestions. Why didn't I just make a cardboard template or a wooden template or something? Just that, you know, with I've got this dimension here from the end to the end. Obviously, I've got that dimension, and I can, you know, make a template that's the same diameter as that. But I didn't do that. It's a good suggestion. I didn't do that because there's just variances. There's variances that you can't account for, like the way this stub sticks out. Like the cardboard, you know, I would have had to make the cardboard extra long to account for this stub sticking out and these wires here, but it's not extra long on this side or this side. You know what I mean? So you can't really account for all the variances. And I had another suggestion, and it's wild. Not an entirely horrible idea. Is why don't I just make a jack shaft sort of that extends this out to, you know, possibly here, but maybe not that far, but extends it out to about right here, maybe. Come up with some sort of a carrier bearing, and then put that little stub or the flange on it, and then run two driver's side, yeah, because this is the passenger side here. 2 driver's side axles, and then not only will that clear up this interference here, but it'd also get rid of any potential torque steer that I'm almost certainly going to have with this kind of power. And it's a, you know, I mean, that's a a crazy idea, but it's good. I dig it. You know, I'm probably not going to do that because making a carrier bearing for that half shaft is just, I don't know, it's just asking for trouble. There's a lot of torque applied on that. EVTV actually did that in their very, very early days. And I don't know when they started, 2009, I don't know. But Jack Rickard and Brian Noto, they did a Mini Cooper. And Mini Coopers have that situation where they have a jack shaft and the carrier bearing is supported by the engine. Well, without the engine there, they put an electric motor, a DC motor in their case. And they had all kinds of trouble doing that very thing, mounting a secure carrier bearing. There's just a lot of torque on there, and it needs to be really, really solid. So anyway, if this doesn't work, I'm not going to do the DC motor. The problem with DC motors is that the brushes, they don't last forever. They do eventually wear out. Maybe it's 20,000, maybe it's 50,000 miles. I don't know. It's some number of miles. And the other problem is that every periodically, maybe 5,000, 8,000 miles, you got to take the cover off of the brushes and blow out all the carbon, because that carbon, it can create little carbon bridges, and it can ground out your brushes and just cause all kinds of problems. So I'm not going to do that. I want to do an induction motor. If this doesn't work, then I'll just have to open up my wallet and buy a different motor. But I actually think this is going to work. Yeah, so that's today. Tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and figure out a way to lift this thing on my little cherry picker there and put it in the truck and see what happens. Let's go over here and see where I might see some potential problems. If this is too dark, we're going to cut this off. Yeah, it's not too dark. All right, guys, day 3. And having said all that I just said, all that you sat through, scratch it, forget it. We're not doing that anymore. We're not going to put a motor up here. It is going to be an electric conversion, no doubt, but it's not going to be front-wheel drive. And I'm not going to say much more about it for the time being. The motor and transmission, they're still together, and they've just been shoved to the back of the garage back there. And a whole bunch of other parts, which we will talk about at a later time. So we're just going to leave it at that. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.